Good evening, my name is Kacper Paradowski and you're watching Poland Daily News. The first case of coronavirus in Poland was confirmed recently. According to the Ministry of Health, the patient who tested positive comes from the Lubuskie province and was most likely infected with the virus in Germany, where he attended a carnival. According to Minister of Health, Łukasz Szumowski, all the implemented procedures performed properly and there is no reason to panic.
We have identified the first case of a patient diagnosed with coronavirus in Poland. As I promised earlier, I informed the Prime Minister and the President of Poland about it, and now I immediately pass this information on to you, the media and the public. The patient is in good condition, he is not at high risk. All persons who have had contact with the patient, although it is not a large group of people, are now quarantined.
This difficult time requires cooperation and responsibility from all of us. We should know how to act, and I hope that all of us will manage to overcome this disease in Poland. I encourage everyone to cooperate and to obey the rules passed on to us by the institutions entitled to do so.
We registered the first case of coronavirus in Poland. We want to exchange experiences. Cooperation on the forum of the European Union is important here. Therefore, we proposed a meeting between the ministers of health of these countries. Such a meeting will take place on Friday, and during the meeting, issues related to the supply of medicines and necessary equipment will be discussed. There is no real threat at the moment, but everything is prepared for that eventuality. I have just spoken with the Minister of Health. Appropriate procedures are being implemented as far as pharmacies are concerned. Pharmacies are being provided with information so that pharmacists know how to direct people that would come in with symptoms which could be caused by the coronavirus.
Dr. Jacek Smykał, head of the Infectious Diseases Ward of the University Provincial Hospital in Zielona Góra, announced that the condition of the Polish patient infected with coronavirus has improved. The patient was transported to the hospital in a specially equipped ambulance.
The course of this patient's illness is mild. It began with a fever and cough. However, today there is no more fever, a slight cough, and overall the patient feels much better. They will therefore stay in the ward. We will carry out control tests, and only if the results of these tests return negative will the patient be discharged. The patient's family remains under quarantine at home at the moment. We recommend not to come into contact with bus travel, as the patient arrived from Germany by bus.
The Ministers of Interior and Administration of the Member States of the European Union met in Brussels to hold talks about the crisis on the Greek-Turkish border, where thousands of migrants are attempting to cross into EU territory. The European Union rejected the open-door policy and decided against accepting the migrants.
Hundreds of thousands of migrants are attempting to enter the European Union. The crisis at the Greek-Turkish border is a result of the decision made by the President of Turkey, who announced establishing a border between Greece and Bulgaria. The Greek border authorities are blocking the migrants.
Where is humanity? Don't they have a conscience? Don't they feel bad when they see the misery of these children and women? We are looking for a shelter in countries that protect human rights. We escaped war and we came here, and they are pointing guns to our heads? Where is humanity?
The Athens authorities have blocked the land and sea borders.
The Turkish side fabricates and spreads false information about Greece. Today they lied about us shooting migrants. I categorically deny this information.
The President of Turkey announced that he will not meet the Greek president to solve a potential humanitarian crisis. He also criticized the European Union, who was supposed to allocate €6 billion for the migrants living on Turkish territory.
Turkey doesn't need this money anymore. Migrants can choose the country they want to live in.
A special meeting of the Ministers of Interior and Administration of all EU countries will be held today evening. The situation on the Greek-Turkish border will be the main topic of the meeting.
Politics in Poland are seldom entangled with history, often regarding World War II and cooperation with the communist regime. Such is the case of Leszek Żukowski, a war hero and president of the World Union of Home Army Soldiers. As of late, chairman of the Historic Army Bureau, Professor Sławomir Cęckiewicz, accused him of cooperating with the communist regime. The war veteran filed a lawsuit alongside his attorney, a staunch critic of the current government, Roman Giertych.
The lawsuit filed by Professor Leszek Żukowski, president of the World Union of Home Army Soldiers, concerned a 2018 publication of an article by Professor Sławomir Cęckiewicz in Do Rzeczy Weekly. The historian quoted a fragment from a secret police registration card. Professor Cęckiewicz claims that from its beginning, the lawsuit is unfounded.
According to the claims made in the lawsuit by attorney Giertych, I accused Mr. President Żukowski on many occasions of being a communist agent. I wrote no such thing.
The counsel of the claimant is attorney Roman Giertych, who as of recent represents those connected to the current opposition in Poland. He is demanding an apology from Professor Cęckiewicz, as well as a compensation of 20,000 zlotych.
He wrote that the war hero, concentration camp inmate and soldier of the Home Army was a secret informant of the communist regime. He has no documentative proof of that, which means that he was lying, Your Honor.
At the request of the plaintiff's attorney, the testimony of Professor Leszek Żukowski was heard by the court. According to the lawyer, the trial is to end as soon as possible, bearing in mind the age and health of the accused. Żukowski denies any connections with the Communist Security Service. According to a statement made by the accused, the allegations against him put the whole World Union of Home Army Soldiers in a bad light. The subject matter is highly political. Today's hearing was focused around the certificate from the Institute of Remembrance, presented by the plaintiff. The defendant, however, plans to prove in the upcoming trials that such a certificate does not prove innocence. The trial was postponed until July 17, 2020.
Hans G., a German businessman whose operations were based in Poland, was accused of hate speech, discrimination based on nationality, as well as mobbing. The German national was said to insult his Polish employees, claimed to want to kill all Poles, and identified as being Nazi. One of his alleged victims recorded his speech and took the evidence to court. The case became the topic of national discussion and, after a few years, was concluded by criminal charges. However, in a separate lawsuit, the Civil Court of Appeals issued a verdict which states that the victim, Natalia Nitek, was fined 15,000 zloty and was made to publicly apologize to Hans G. for the unauthorized recording. Hans G. was also made to apologize in a private letter. Mr. Kacper Płażyński, the husband of the victim and Member of Parliament, is with us tonight, all the way from Gdańsk. Sir, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
What were your wife's reactions to the verdict?
Well, as all of us, I think, unbelievable, scandal. Well, the truth is that there was other case in the criminal court, and actually a few months ago there was also a ruling in that court, and it was sentencing Hans G. For prison time. Actually in suspense, but it was prison time. So the civil court took in defense actually criminal activity, saying that recording that kind of criminal activity is breach of his right to privacy. Well, I don't know how to comment it. I'm also attorney, and I didn't ever met that kind of case, that kind of unjust ruling.
Would you say that the nationality of the defendant mattered in this judgment?
I have no idea, but well, it mattered for the case because the offender is a German businessman making his business in Poland. And what he said to my wife and other employees was, for example, that he is a Nazi person, he loves Hitler, and he would like to shoot all the Poles, because Poles should be slaves, and that's all. So in that matters, yes, the background of his nationality is quite important between our national tense relations because of the Second World War, where Poland was a victim of German invasion.
Right. And now, what are your plans for the future with regards to this case?
Well, my wife is a very proud and very brave person. So, well, she'll do what she thinks is right in that case. She'll try her chances. Hopefully, it will be with a better result in the Supreme Court. And well, let's take one look earlier at the ruling of the first instance court. It was 180 degrees different than this ruling. So there is something unusual going on, I would say.
Mr. Płażyński, thank you very much.
Thank you very much also.
That is all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for Poland Daily Business. Good night.